Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that achieving victory over Israel's enemies, specifically Hamas, is the supreme objective of the ongoing war, even taking precedence over the return of hostages held in Gaza. Speaking during an Independence Day event, Netanyahu acknowledged that bringing hostages home is a very important goal, but emphasized that ultimate victory remains the top priority. This marks a potential shift from previous statements where hostage return and defeating Hamas were presented as equally crucial goals. The comments immediately drew sharp criticism from the families of the hostages. The hostages and missing families Forum declared that returning the captives is not a lesser goal, but rather the supreme goal that should guide the government. They expressed concern that Netanyahu is aligning himself with far-right coalition partners, like Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, who previously stated hostage return wasn't the most important objective. Contrary to the wishes of the majority of the Israeli public, Einav Zangauker, mother of hostage Matan Zangauker, reacted with anger, stating that if the Prime Minister has more important goals than returning her son, who she described as suffering immensely in captivity, her new goal is to oust Netanyahu from power. The remarks come amidst stalled ceasefire negotiations and ongoing weekly protests in Israel, demanding an end to the war to secure the hostages' release. Meanwhile, IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir asserted the military is prepared to deliver a decisive blow against Hamas and intensify operations if necessary. Next news. The controversy surrounding former NFL coach Bill Belichick's awkward CBS interview continues, now involving family members. Jennifer Belichick, wife of Bill's son and University of North Carolina defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, publicly criticized her father-in-law's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, for her role during the televised conversation, responding to comments on Instagram defending Hudson's actions as typical for a publicist. Jennifer Belichick retorted, "Publicists act in a professional manner and don't storm off-set delaying an interview." This referenced reports that Hudson abruptly interrupted filming when questions turned to her relationship with the much older coach, allegedly causing a significant delay. The exchange highlights apparent friction within Belichick's inner circle regarding Hudson's influence. Previous reports revealed emails where Hudson attempted to guide the university's media team on how to portray Steve Belichick, emphasizing his own merits rather than just being his father's son, seemingly to counter perceptions of nepotism. Jennifer Belichick's public comments offer a rare glimpse into the family's reaction to the situation and underscore potential tensions surrounding Hudson's role and perceived professionalism during public appearances. Next news. As the troubled Western film Rust finally nears its release, director Joel Souza is sharing his complex feelings about the project, overshadowed by the tragic death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on set in 2021. Hutchins was fatally wounded when a prop gun held by star Alec Baldwin discharged a live round during rehearsal. Souza himself was injured in the incident. In a recent interview, Souza expressed deep regret, stating, "Talk about the butterfly effect. I wish I never wrote the damn movie." He cited a chain of events and bad decision after bad decision leading up to the fatal accident. Despite initially being repelled by the thought of returning to the film, Souza ultimately agreed to complete it at the request of Hutchins' family, feeling he couldn't let someone else finish her work. The remainder of the cinematography was completed by Bianca Klein. Souza described the resumption of filming as emotionally taxing, requiring him to direct the actor involved in the shooting. He admitted having no relationship with Baldwin, stating they are neither friends nor enemies. He also took a jab at Baldwin's recent family reality show, The Baldwins, saying he was too busy hitting myself in the face with a frying pan to watch it. Prop armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to prison, while charges against Baldwin related to the incident were dismissed. Rust is receiving a limited theatrical release and will be available on VOD platforms starting May 2nd. Next news. May Day demonstrations across the globe saw hundreds of thousands rallying for workers' rights and social justice, with many protests, explicitly targeting the policies and perceived impact of U.S. President Donald Trump. From Asia to Europe and across the United States, activists voiced concerns over his administration's agenda, particularly aggressive tariffs stoking fears of economic instability and controversial immigration crackdowns. In the U.S., organizers framed the protests as pushback against assaults on labor protections, diversity initiatives, and federal employees. Rallies occurred in major cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., uniting union workers, immigrant rights advocates, and others. Concerns about potential cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, alongside Trump's stance on immigration and labor, fueled participation. Internationally, the Trumpization of politics was a common theme. French union leaders condemned U.S. military and trade influence, while German unions warned against rising anti-immigrant sentiment alongside labor protection rollbacks. In Asia, marches in the Philippines, Taiwan, and Japan highlighted fears that U.S. tariffs could harm local industries and livelihoods. Taiwan's president even cited Trump's tariffs while promoting a domestic economic package. Spanish marchers also noted the global shift brought by the rise of the far right in the U.S. While May Day traditionally focuses on labor, this year's global demonstrations clearly indicated widespread international concern over the direction of U.S. policy under Trump and its potential worldwide consequences. Next, news department store chain Kohl's has terminated its recently appointed CEO, Ashley Buchanan, after just 4 months on the job. The company announced the dismissal followed an investigation overseen by the board's audit committee, which determined Buchanan had violated company policies regarding conflicts of interest. According to Kohl's, Buchanan directed the company to engage in vendor transactions that involved undisclosed conflicts of interest. While the company's official filing didn't name the other party, reports indicate the conflict stemmed from Buchanan's relationship with Chandra Holt, a former Walmart colleague with whom he reportedly had a past romantic relationship. Holt is the founder and CEO of Incredibrew, a coffee brand. The investigation allegedly found that Holt's company secured a multi-million-dollar consulting agreement with Kohl's under highly unusual and favorable terms, which Buchanan failed to disclose properly. Holt acknowledged knowing Buchanan for 10 years but stated her company had not received compensation from Kohl's. Buchanan will forfeit equity awards and must reimburse a prorated portion of a $2.5 million signing award. Kohl's emphasized the termination was unrelated to financial performance and named board chair Michael Bender as interim CEO. This marks the third CEO departure for Kohl's in the past 3 years, as the retailer struggles with declining sales. Next, news: recent local elections across England have delivered a significant shakeup to the political landscape, marked by a surge for Nigel Farage's Reform UK party and notable setbacks for both the governing Labour Party and the opposition Conservatives. Reform UK exceeded expectations, winning control of several councils, many previously held by the Conservatives, and securing key mayoral victories, signaling a potential end to traditional two-party dominance. The party gained control of councils in areas like Staffordshire, Lincolnshire, Kent, and Derbyshire, largely by attracting voters who previously supported the Conservatives. Reform also won mayoral races in Greater Lincolnshire and Hull and East Yorkshire. Furthermore, Reform secured a parliamentary seat in the Runcorn and Helsby by-election, narrowly defeating Labour in a significant blow to the governing party. Just months after its landslide national election win, Farage hailed the results as a very, very big moment, declaring the end of two-party politics as we've known it. The results were particularly damaging for the Conservatives, who lost over 600 council seats across the board. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch acknowledged the losses, stating the public was fed up with Labour, but not yet ready to trust the Tories again. Labour, while holding on to some mayoralties like Doncaster and North Tyneside, faced disappointment, losing the Runcorn by-election and the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough mayoralty to the Conservatives. The Liberal Democrats also made significant gains, winning control of councils like Oxfordshire and Cambridgeshire, and positioning themselves as the Party of Middle England. The overall results suggest a fragmentation of the traditional political landscape, with Reform UK emerging as a potent force. Next news, the US stock market saw gains as May began, largely fueled by better-than-expected quarterly earnings from tech giants Microsoft and Meta Platforms. The positive results helped ease investor concerns that President Trump's ongoing trade disputes and potential tariffs could derail economic growth and hinder progress in the artificial intelligence sector. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average both extended their winning streaks to 8 consecutive days, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite saw a significant jump, erasing declines experienced since Trump's tariff announcements in early April. Microsoft shares surged after reporting strong revenue growth driven by cloud computing and AI. Meta Platforms also beat expectations, with CEO Mark Zuckerberg expressing confidence in the company's ability to navigate macroeconomic uncertainty. These results boosted the information technology sector significantly. Analysts noted that while few stocks are immune to trade wars, the AI sector appears less impacted than initially feared, being early in a steep growth phase. However, underlying economic concerns persist. Weekly jobless claims came in higher than expected, adding to worries sparked by a disappointing GDP report showing the economy contracted in the first quarter of 2025. This weak economic data initially shook markets earlier in the week before the tech earnings provided a boost. Uncertainty remains regarding the ultimate impact of Trump's tariffs and whether trade deals with other partners will materialize to mitigate the effects. While the market started May positively, the recent gains follow several months of losses driven by trade policy uncertainty.